Hey, JulesBlessedVegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. We are in the middle of a self-care challenge over at JBV, that's JulesBlessedVegan, for those who aren't in the know, and even an arm challenge, which is in our Greens Make You Lean group. But I also did a video in JulesBlessedVegan. If you're interested, it is a killer workout, and of course, it more than benefits just the arm. But it takes discipline, right? Because it's a 30-day challenge. And it's one of those things where it's so fast and furious and the increments go up so quickly that if you skip a day and like try and make up both, this thing ain't playing, all right? So I was thinking within one of the topics, there was a hyperlink that was talking about forming habits and how it can take 66 days really to form a habit. And I love that. And I thought, that's a note to self on patience, right? And so I found the hyperlink. It's from the National Library of Medicine, the National Center for Biotechnology Information, and it is a peer review article. I don't know, it looks like it gets pretty intense, but it's not super long. So I thought, yeah, let's go for it. And I always realize I totally do keywords wrong. Keywords are supposed to be like, what is this linked with? And I always say, keywords, have a good day. God is good. Like, what? Because I just saw the keywords for this article are maintenance, habit building, personalization, adherence, like those. Hi, I gotta learn how to use hyperlinks. I mean, keywords. Okay, so it reads, one of the greatest challenges to lifestyle medicine is patient adherence. Lifestyle diseases inherently require lifetime prevention and treatment. Therefore, adherence to lifestyle medicine recommendations must also be long-term adherence. So moment plus moment equals momentum, right? Tanny Raw. Implies that a routine incorporating health recommendations has been developed. Instead of focusing on the immediacy of adherence and lifestyle changes, healthcare providers could consider helping patients develop a routine to slowly incorporate those changes. This perspective may enable greater long-term adherence to lifestyle change recommendations. All right, let's get into it. It says implementation of lifestyle change implies that routine is followed and habits are formed. I lost mine. I was thinking, and this is just a sidebar, me, like so much is going on all the time. But I'm in this other group and I posted a video and I thought it was a really good one. It was on 7 steps to getting off of sugar. I'm trying to think. Maybe that was the second one. Anyway, I think it was the 10 things of why sugar is so detrimental. Something like that, whatever the case was. But it was a really good video and it was super important. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to share this with someone else who may be struggling. And somebody commented and said, do you know that that guy eats meat? And did you know that guy, and it's actually a doctor, that he promotes eating meat. I don't even know. And I wrote back and said, no, I've never seen him before. But what I do know is that this video is excellent and the information is still valid. So even if he's doing other things now, the information on why sugar is detrimental to our health is still valid. And I left the video because I thought it was a really good one. But I thought, you know what, like we always are ready to jump someone or throw them out with the bathwater if they've made a mistake or if they're doing something. Like maybe if I promote way more of his really good information videos and he gets more likes and more clicks, he'll say, maybe I should go back in that direction instead of with keto and meat and whatever. I mean, who even knows? I thought if somebody sees me from just 6 months ago, I looked so much more vibrant. My face was so much more lean. It's so obvious that I was way more on program. Are they going to get rid of me because they see me now and just go, whatever, chick's a fraud? I'm not a fraud. I'm a human in progress. And I've been struggling, which I've mentioned on this channel. And I know by God's grace and by this community and so many other resources that I have, that I will absolutely get on plan. And maybe this next time, it'll be forever. Maybe it'll be forever. So yeah, sorry, something's getting me. Let's get into this because this is exactly what I wanted to remind myself, the gentleness of saying, while you want to be consistent, you can also be patient with yourself, because let's just say it's 66 days and we're going to start tomorrow. It's always tomorrow, right? So 66 days from tomorrow is January 23rd. That's actually kind of cool. January, so the month is 123 for the year 2023. I like it a lot. All right. And this could be anything, whether it's a habit you're trying to change, whether it's something to do with actually food, drinking, vaping, I don't even know what. Name your poison. But again, it could just be kindness. It could be paying the bills. It could be walking your dog. Whatever it is, give yourself 66 days to really get that habit going. So it reads, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. This popular expression indicates that apples are good for one's health and highlights the importance of routinely eating them. An apple a day. Not an apple every once in a while, not an apple once a week, a day. Okay. So often the message individuals take away from an apple a day health advice is to just eat more apples. However, perhaps the more important takeaway message is to eat nutritious food regularly, as in every day. The term lifestyle change inherently means that changes are made such that they can be followed for the lifetime of an individual. We certainly have bad habits that follow us for our entire life, right? Why not the good? Luckily, I've always brushed my teeth my whole life. I've flossed my whole life. That was something my mother instilled in me. I've made my bed my whole life. I, shower every other day my whole life. There's certain things that have always been in play. The food was relatively new to me, especially vegan, raw vegan. Plant-based, all of that. I've faltered. I'm hoping at some point it'll be forever. I'm itching to death. Something got me. I'm doing laundry right now, and I don't know if it was being in the dog's room or what, but I'm itching to death. And I don't take medication, so it's not like I'm going to run and take a Benadryl or something, right? I just have to be aware, maybe drink some hot tea and calm myself down. Okay, but let's keep going because this is so good. So it says implementation of a lifestyle change implies that a routine is followed and habits are formed. A healthy lifestyle includes habitual, so a habit, consumption of nutritious foods, regular physical activity, and consistent sleep. That sleep one might still be getting me. In this issue, Weaver and colleagues, the authors of the study, discuss the structured day hypothesis as an explanation for the trend in children gaining weight over the summer. So interesting. I had no idea this was going towards children. I, of course, am a teacher of children. So that's of interest to me. Also, just for myself, when I'm in this place where I'm eating wrong and overeating and everything, I tend to be in a child's mindset that wants it now. So this is applicable to me on all levels anyway. I'm super interested. When days are less structured, such as summer months when school is out of session, children are more prone to engage in obesogenic behaviors. As a result, most children, irrespective of their weight status, gain weight over the summer. And I was just thinking, in the 70s and stuff when we were little kids, and of course you may be far younger and even older, we were just out all day, every day, right? From sunrise to sunset. And nobody was really gaining weight. I think later in the 70s, the upper 70s, certainly the 80s, when they started having what was called latchkey kids, right? Both parents were working, they had to come home, lock themselves in the house, inevitably munching, watching TV, and then of course later video games. I can totally understand this, but yeah, I always expected to be far stronger and healthier in the summertime. Okay, routine is consistently found to be important for children. I had no idea, again, this was about children, but think about your inner child. I mean, we're all children to God, no matter what. Okay, a bedtime routine is associated with increased family functioning and improved sleep habits. How often are you in the store and a child is just screaming? And while the parent wants to shut them up, My thought is, did you give them a nap today? Is there any way there was any structure at all for that child? Because that is a child in need of a nap. I never get mad. I just say, oh, I'm so sorry that my day took over your need for structure. So it says family routines have been linked to the development of social skills and academic success, and adherence to family rituals has been identified as important for family resilience during times of crisis. No doubt. And we've had crisis at least 3 years, right, with the pandemic. However, the importance of routine is not unique to children. Observational research indicates that individuals in good health engage in highly routine health behaviors. For example, those successful at maintaining weight loss often eat the same foods, engage in consistent exercise, and do not skip meals. While the preponderance of observational level research points to the importance of routine, little attention has been paid to the role routine may have in lifestyle medicine. Instead, health behavior research often focuses on patient adherence. According to the World Health Organization, adherence refers to the extent to which a person's behavior, taking medication, following a diet, executing lifestyle changes, corresponds with agreed recommendations from a healthcare provider. And again, this might just be a group that you're in on the internet where people are doing what you want to be doing. Patient adherence is one of the greatest challenges in lifestyle medicine. In short term, many patients are able to adhere to recommendations. Short term, anyone can do something. However, it's been estimated that only about 50% of patients adhere to their long-term treatment plan. Non-adherence to medication, for example, can lead to poor management of chronic disease and a higher healthcare burden. This is a critical issue for lifestyle medicine, as chronic disease is by definition long-term. And I would argue that a chronic disease for me has been obesity. A chronic disease for me has been compulsive overeating. A chronic disease for me has been all the dis-ease in my life surrounding food. So I can apply this. There's probably something you can apply it to. It is evident from low adherence rates that adherence does not always lead to routine. A routine can be defined, let's listen to this. A routine can be defined as a repeated behavior involving a momentary time commitment task that requires little conscious thought. If health recommendations were to become routine, adherence would likely occur. A novel way to approach the issue of patient adherence is to assist patients in creating a routine around the health recommendation. However, there are many challenges to the creation of a routine, and that's why we're here, to learn how it can take 66 days to truly commit and develop what becomes a permanent routine, ideally. I'm trying to think about that because in all this time that I've been Jules Blessed Vegan, and all this time that I've been learning about these ways of life and how to better live, I was trying to think, have I ever made it to 66 days consistently? And if I was being honest, no. Like a component, I remember making it to 88 days, but was it everything or just most? I don't think I'm committing to going for the 66 days. All in, all in. Are you with me, anyone? Again, for anything in your life, it doesn't have to just be this. Okay, so forming a routine. Forming a routine can take a long time and is highly variable between individuals. Experimental research regarding routines is scant. One reason for this is that conducting a randomized controlled trial to isolate routine as a variable of interest would be challenging. And people lie. I don't know if it's going to say that, but people lie. I also posted another video. It was on Mark Rothkranz. Mark? Karen Mark? Pretty sure it's Mark. Anyway, it was really funny because he said, if I showed up at your house, I'm coming in 15 minutes. Because he was talking about how we really do know how to care for ourselves. We know what we should be eating and not eating, what we should be doing and not doing. And he said, if I showed up at your house in 15 minutes, what would you hide? What would you get rid of super quick? What would you lie to me about to say, oh, that's not mine? Oh, that's someone in my family. A neighbor dropped that by, but I swear I never eat it. He's like, for all those people who, I do everything you say, but none of it works. They're liars. At the very least, they're lying to themselves, let alone to him. And I just thought that was classic. What would I quickly hide if one of my raw vegan friends showed up? You know what I mean? It's so interesting. Okay, so it reads, the formation of habits is more often studied. As the formation of a habit routine is more similar than different, some implications of habit formation research will be discussed. However, it is important to note the difference between a routine and a habit. Habits are associated with a cue. For example, washing one's hands after using the restroom is a habit because hand washing is associated with the event of using the restroom. Like a routine, a habit requires little conscious thought. However, after prolonged absence of the cue, an individual's habit may subside. A routine is not dependent on a cue. I always have wondered, because I was a huge part of the Tanny Raw Reset, and if you're not familiar, you can look it up. She's not currently doing them, and she even got rid of her website, but if you just go up into my search bar and put Tanny Raw, it'll come up. But what I was thinking was, in that whole idea of cues and habits, I listened to Tanny Raw all the time. And I always knew when that next reset was coming. And I always knew like what people were in it. It was really a cue habit thing. I attended 15 resets in 3 years. Obviously, if you're doing something 5 times a year and they're a month each, it's a huge part of the cue and habit. And that was a really big resource that dropped out of my life, you know, and I'm not blaming. There's no blame. I'm just recognizing what could be part of the struggle that I've had, you know, in this last year. It says, however, after prolonged absence from the cue, the individual's habit may subside. A study conducted in the United Kingdom, which is like England and much bigger than that, examined how long it takes for adults to form a health habit. There's a ton of hyperlinks, and of course I will include this in the description of the video. Participants were asked to choose a simple dietary or physical activity behavior they did not currently practice to turn into a habit. I've broken a couple of habits. I chewed gum, like insanely chewed gum, my whole life. And I quit gum about 3 years ago. It was a really big deal and was very difficult for me because there were different times that I would chew gum with intention. I would eat up to 60 pieces a day, all sugar-free, of course, It was a really big habit for me. Another one was Diet Coke. I wasn't just addicted. It was just part of my lifestyle. Diet Coke with lemon. I mean, come on. Like certain things like that. Cussing, certain cuss words that I would use. Different things that I had to really conscientiously work towards letting go. And of course, incorporating healthy habits like 16 cups of water throughout the day. Those are all with intent, right? So it says behaviors were cued by a single event during the day, such as eating a piece of fruit with lunch, drinking a glass of water after breakfast, doing 50 sit-ups after morning coffee, and walking for 10 minutes after breakfast. So the cue is whenever the other event happens. And of course, this is true for negative things too. You know, what is it? And I've been trying to be very conscious of this in my environment. What is it that's making me want to stray from my plan? What is it that's making me want to, you know, let go of my reason or value or commitment in that moment? And it's been interesting to see what provokes me. Wow, if I'm being honest, I've really been noticing, wow, all of a sudden I have this raging desire. What was that? And I'm just trying to be more aware because there's definitely things in my environment that have stoked less than lovely behaviors. So it says on average it took 66 days before habits became automatic for participants. 66 days. Although not significant, physical activity behaviors were arguably more complicated than eating or drinking around a mealtime. Physical activity took 1.5 times longer to become automatic than eating or drinking. This illustrates that more complex combinations of behaviors required to prevent disease, like routines, are likely to take considerably longer than 66 days average found for the simple single behaviors in this study. I mean, I think of like 101 Annie on Instagram. I think of Janice, I'm not sure, Raw for the Health of It, again on Instagram, where those girls started with one day and they're in the thousands of days. I mean, it has gone 4 years. And, it was one of those things where, and I'm talking about the physical habit, that even if it was only 5 minutes, no matter what, they were going to honor themselves by intentionally exercising. And day after day has led to month after month and year after year. Wow. Okay, so in the same study, habit formation ranged from 18 to 254 days. Such variability makes it difficult to form expectations for how long it would take a patient to adopt a simple health behavior. This reinforces the importance of tailoring health advice and treatment expectations to each patient. Patient is the key word, as in being patient with ourselves. Part of forming a habit is the consistent repetition, that's everything, of the behavior. And again, allowing yourself to do it less than perfectly, but to do it. And by you, I mean me. In the study discussed above, consistent performance of the behaviors varied by behavior type. Participants who chose a physical activity or eating behavior were significantly less likely to complete the behavior daily than those who chose to drink water. Importantly, not performing the behavior one day did not have lasting effects on the time to forming the habit. This indicates that turning adherence into routine is likely not a dichotomous process. Occasional non-adherence to behavior will not derail progress made to creating the routine, and perfect adherence does not need to be a goal or expectation for a patient. But it has to be consistent nonetheless. So let's see. Turning adherence, which is abiding by like the rule or the promise, into an actual routine, which involves the cue, right? So it says routines do not require conscious effort or thought. Although there are multiple strategies to form a routine, an important one is to help patients develop a structure to their day such that fewer decisions need to be made. Isn't that so true? When things become too complicated, too many decisions, too many choices, too many steps, that's the burnout, right? When presented with a choice, individuals typically pick the option that is the easiest, quickest, and most enjoyable. That's human nature. Unfortunately, these choices often encounter most health recommendations. The success of meal replacement as a weight loss aid exemplifies how reducing the number of decisions an individual makes can lead to improved health. Another approach is to train patients to plan out decisions prior to being faced without decisions. So like the role playing, right? And like we did yesterday where you have a morning routine. Strategies such as preparing meals or even a part of meal or multiple meals, right? Ahead of time, looking at the menu on the way to the restaurant to decide on a healthy choice before sitting at the table, packing a lunch instead of purchasing one. I do that every single day. My husband is always scattered because he's always thinking, where am I going to eat lunch? In your lunch kit. He does so many things right, but that's one of them we're still working on. Scheduling an exercise class or time to work out with a friend. That's it right there. If you can get someone to make you accountable, and so on, all can help remove decisions from an individual's day. When helping a patient plan how to fit health recommendations into their day, it's important for healthcare providers and patients to be realistic. For most of lifestyle medicine, the establishment of a routine for long care adherence is more important than perfect adherence in the short term. And I totally get that. So at school on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have PE. And so once we get the activity going, a group inevitably chooses not to participate, but they're still required to move, so they walk. So I make sure that while they're doing a warm-up, I quickly do 2 laps. And then when the other group gets going and the walking group is going, I make sure that I do 4 more. That gets me at 6. I do 4 throughout the day to get to 10 laps, which is 2 miles. And it really helps me hit my numbers. It's absolutely routine. There's a cue. Oh, it's PE day. Let's do it. It's far harder on Tuesday and Thursday when there's no PE day. So interesting, right? So it says healthcare providers can include situations into the plan when patients have disruptions in routines and can troubleshoot solutions to barriers. This is one thing Tanny Raw was so good at in the Raw Reset. And I think if you go to tannyraw.com, you'll see, if you just put in like routines or something like that, it'll probably come up. But she was so good about doing scenarios and practicing what may come up and how to get through that at the time. That was really good. For example, a vacation may completely disrupt someone's routine, making it less likely for him or her to maintain certain lifestyle behaviors. In this case, it's important to determine how one's routine will be reestablished upon their return. And again, just knowing to expect that you'll be disrupted and what are you going to do about it. Conclusion. Establishing a routine of eating an apple every day will keep the doctor away. To reduce the healthcare burden and improve patients' chronic disease management. And again, who cares about the establishment? This is your pocketbook, right, for yourself. Healthcare providers can consider shifting towards helping patients build a routine around the lifestyle changes that they need to make. In other words, instead of asking a patient to change his or her lifestyle to adhere to specific recommendations, healthcare providers can help patients find ways to fit recommendations into their lifestyles. This different perspective for both the healthcare provider and patient could be what is necessary to change long-term adherence. However, routines take time to establish. Adding in too many changes to a day will likely be difficult for the patient to sustain and may result in behavior relapse. Research consistently demonstrates that too much change too fast is likely to end without positive results. Healthcare providers can aim to add in 1 or 2 changes at a time, slowly building a routine for health that truly does keep the doctor away. I love that. And I so get that. I go for broke, I do it all, and then I crash and do nothing. And so I decided I was going to be fair with myself and make sure that I exercise every day, some degree of exercise every day. Make sure that I am eating God's food. And I already do prayer. I already do rosary. I already do Mass. Like, we talk about the food component, but there's so much more going on. I already care for the animals. I already, try and be organized in school and teach my kids and get the homework done. Like, there's so many components depending on where we are. And a lot of people have way more life than other people, right? I'm one of those way more life than other people. So anyway, I thought that was super interesting. As always, like if you like, doing this if you haven't, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below, did that serve you? I pray it did. And until we talk again, 66 days towards something. Why don't we try it tomorrow, you guys, and celebrate on January 23rd, and then for the rest of our lives, right? All right, until we talk again, know that you're blessed.